Hello and welcome to DieCastRestos. It's Jason here with the 10C Foden 15-ton sugar container. This mouthful was in the range from 1960 until 1966, and it always came in this dark blue shade with the Tate & Lyle livery. I'll be restoring these two models today. As you can see, this model has been badly beaten up, missing most of the decals. The wheels are very badly rusted up, a lot of dirt around them. Front end is in pretty poor condition as well. And you can see the remnants of the decal on the back there. Nothing at all on this side. But luckily there's no real damage to the model. Here you can see the base with the hole in. Collection of dirt. You can just about see the casting details there. There's a single rivet on the front which holds in the front axle. The remainder are all attached to the body. Here's the other model I've got with the grey plastic wheels. Slightly better condition, not quite so rusted around the wheels. The decals on the rear are actually in pretty good shape. The rest of it is quite badly scratched again. So today's episode, it features twice the number of models with 4 times the number of wheels as usual. First up, I remove the wheels from the axle on the front. And this just falls away. However, with the rest of the wheels I was not quite so lucky, so I used some of this WD-40, which as stated here, loosens rusted parts. I apply a squirt of that to each of the wheels on the interior and exterior and allow it to soak in for a little bit just to work away at that rust. So my acid test is to push the wheels in alternate directions to loosen them up, and then they can be removed. They eventually all come away nicely. I then drill out the rivet post using a 4mm drill bit, and here are all the components for one of the models. And alongside the 12C Land Rover from last week, I apply the paint stripper to remove the paint from both of the bodies. So the model always came in this dark blue shade, as I said. It was trimmed in silver, and you would find this on the grille, the headlights and the front bumper. Except for some very rare promotional variations, the model always came in the Tate & Lyle livery. Tate & Lyle was a merger of 2 sugar refiners in 1921 and is a company that still exists today. Here you can see the castings, a few remnants of paint that will just need to be picked away after they've come out of the gloopy paint stripper. A lot of remnants around the wheel arches, so I need to pick those away. Using my dental tool, I'll be doing that here. It was quite moist still around the hole in the base, so I needed to dry it up a couple of times. And here you can see I'm just picking away at that grille. Here I go over the model with a wire brush. The model is based on a Foden S21 vehicle, produced in the 1960s, and if you search Tate & Lyle Foden you'll see a real life variant of this and it looks absolutely gorgeous. The Foden company was founded in 1887 and switched to diesel vehicles from steam in the early 1930s before ceasing steam production in 1934. Here I'm applying a layer of the Tamiya Fine Surface Primer in white. This was a bit of a tricky task in the end because a lot of the primer on the base didn't really apply all that well. This is mainly due to the fact that the water from rinsing off the model from paint stripping was still trapped inside the tanker with the little hole at the bottom, so I needed to really let it dry for a bit longer in retrospect. Here I'll show you the whole process of removing the rust from the axles. Started out in a very poor condition, but with a bit of rubbing on some fine grit sandpaper, it starts to come away onto a clean edge. And you can see already how much is coming off. And it's a really quick transformation. And here's a before and after. Now I have the grueling task of cleaning up 16 wheels. And here I prepare them ready for painting using the Citadel Gloss Nuln Oil. Quite a long and laborious task, this one. Now I prepare for reassembly. As it's such a short post on this one where the rivet was drilled out, I press it back into place over the original, and then I can tap the wheels back onto the model. Here I'm painting in the details, as mentioned before, so the headlights, the grille and the front bumper are all filled in on this model. This is all using the paint from a silver paint pen. And then I touch up the ends of the axles as well. And they've gone from looking rusty and completely unusable to almost new again. Now I'll be applying the transfers. I'd ordered these from modelsupplies.co.uk. I first of all used some Mr. Mark softer on the model so these transfers set. I'm just using my finger to coax it into place. And then back onto the transfer paper as it had folded over. And then back on the model again. These are one of my least favourite sets of transfers to apply. I spent forever trying to readjust them and they still turned out wonky on some sides, which you'll see in the end video. After rolling it out, I then move on to the rear panel. There's a small cutout for the tank end here. Bit of readjustment so it sits in place. Again, this looks a bit wonky, but it isn't as wonky as it actually seems. So here are the two models that we started with the grey plastic wheels and the black plastic wheels. Those very rusted ends of axles on the black wheeled model. The remnants of the decals on both, with the silver plastic wheels slightly better than the black wheeled version. Structurally, all completely sound, no missing components, which is nice. Particularly the black wheeled version, that just needed a good going over, loosening up those wheels. So I attempted to make them look a little bit sweeter. And here is the final result. I've swapped sides, the black one's front and the silver plastic wheeled version is at the back. But they look 100 times better as they do already. Here you can see the slightly wonky transfer. I just had to let it go after a while. It just doesn't quite sit in line. But these replacement transfers are really good actually. I really like the actual quality of them. Model Supplies have done a great job there. And you can see the front end details have been painted in again. The headlights and the front bumpers. Ends of the axles have all been painted up. If you haven't already, please check out my Patreon page. I have sneak previews for my upcoming videos on there, so do take a look. And all it leaves me to say is thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again for the next one. Bye for now.